Hello everybody, welcome to another second channel video. I'm recording this one a little bit differently just to try this kind of Scott Stash style out. But today I wanted to just show off the various copies of the Star Trek movies that I have. So I guess let's jump right in with this. This is the special longer version of the motion picture on VHS. I think you can maybe kind of see there. This is a 1983 copy of the special longer version. I don't have yet an original 1980 copy of the regular version of the film, but I am keeping my eye out for one of those. But this is the oldest one that I have, I guess. Here's just a look at the back there for comparison, because I also have this 1989 reissue here. You can kind of see that the Paramount logos are obviously different. I think this bit of information there is mostly the same. This doesn't have, like, you can kind of see there's two dates there. There's only one on this one. But I think the bigger differences are on the back of the tapes here. Just, barcode, the logo's in a different spot here, some more text right there. But also what I think is pretty cool is this version is on a Scotch video cassette, which I think is very interesting. I guess it makes sense that Scotch would make videotape, but I've just never seen it, advertised so prominently before. And just to show it off, this is just a regular video cassette. Nothing too special about this one. Then I think these are also 1989 re-releases, but they are the original box designs, so to speak, of The Wrath of Khan and The Search for Spock here. I really like the blue on the logo for this one. I think it looks very nice. So there's the front, so let's just take a look at the spines. And then on the back, for comparison as well, because next up, I'm going to show these off. These were released, I believe, for, you can see it there, Paramount's 75th anniversary. They released a whole bunch of movies like this, but I only have the Star Trek ones, of course. They use, I guess, shots from the movies on the boxes instead of the actual posters, as you can see. But, yeah, the spines are pretty similar to the regular original ones. Obviously, the motion picture logo is a lot smaller, but I think it's much more comparable with The Wrath of Khan and The Search of Spock. Just so you can get a look at that. And then the backs as well, I think are... Oh, no, they actually are different. You can see, like, they use the same picture, except on this one, I guess. Or on this one, so it's only for the first one. That's really interesting, actually. You can see that I bought them all for $8. I think that's a little expensive for a VHS tape, but I guess these are probably a little bit rarer than most other versions, so I guess it's kind of justifiable. But yeah, those are the Paramount 75th anniversary special collector's series versions of the first three films. Then we have an original... what year is this? 1987 version of The Voyage Home. This is when they decided to change up the packaging. I think the original 89 version of The Final Frontier is also like this. I think it's just more like a reddish color, if my memory is correct. I don't actually have that one yet, but that's also on my docket. But yeah, get a look at the spine again. I'll look at the back here. I show this off again for comparison, because now we're going to take a look at the 1991 re-releases of all the films. Here we have the motion picture and The Wrath of Khan. I think the backs on these are more similar to the Special Collectors series, more or less. I guess they have one good picture for the motion picture, but this is different again. So I guess that's probably actually more similar to this one. Khan is flipped for some reason, which I find interesting. But yeah, that's the motion picture and The Wrath of Khan. Get a look at both sides of the spine here. I'll show these off with all of them in a minute. Then we've got The Search for Spock and The Voyage Home. Spines. And then the back again. You can see that The Voyage Home is the same picture, but interestingly, I've noticed this, but I haven't brought it up yet, that the actual, synopses are different. Let's see if that's the same for The Search of Spock. It looks like this one's actually the same. It's just that this doesn't have the big A. But, just looking at the first sentence, I think that's about the same. And then, the only two I haven't shown off yet, The Final Frontier and The Undiscovered Country. So, again, this had a 1989 VHS release prior to this 1991 version, but The Undiscovered Country, this is the only VHS version, I'm pretty sure, because this movie came out in 1991. So I don't really have anything to compare these against in terms of VHS, but let's just get a look at the fronts and the backs here. Spines. And then, as promised, I think this must have originally been a box set of just the first 5 movies, because that is a very nice picture of the Enterprise right there. And then the 6th one just looks kind of weird next to all of them. I think for all of these, though I do display it with the picture of the Enterprise, just because I think that's a lot cooler. But taking all 6 tapes into account, I think the other side is much better for displaying, just because, that's just a nice picture. There's no weird extension of the image on this side, But again, I do like having them on the Enterprise side, just because it looks cool. Next, I want to take a look at the Next Generation movies. I have significantly less versions of these. We'll start off, of course, with Generations. I am not sure if there's, really much difference between these two releases of Generations, but this is, a standard, just a regular version, and then this one, as you can see, is all, glossy and stuff. I'm not really sure if this is a special edition or something, but yeah, so these are the 2 versions of Star Trek Generations. Here we have a standard version of First Contact. As far as I know, there is no special edition of First Contact. The only thing that's kind of special is that I've seen some releases, and I do have one of them, with this holographic card on the front here. And this is a sealed copy, defiled a little bit by this sticker here, but I'm not really much into resale value anyway. I just think it's kind of cool. Star Trek Insurrection This one is also glossy. I'm not sure if there is a not glossy variant in existence, but I have been on the lookout for one. Let me show these off a little bit better. Back, other spine here. And then, this is the most recent addition to my collection. One of the most, anyway. And one of the most difficult to find. That is Star Trek Nemesis on VHS. I think this is a bit of a rarer tape, just because the movie and the VHS tape came out just like toward the end of the VHS's lifespan. DVD was the king by that point. So there just weren't as many made, but I was finally able to find a copy. So that's very cool. And then to wrap up this video, I had the opportunity a couple days ago to buy all of the regular releases of the movies on DVD, but I did not, unfortunately. I kind of regret not doing that, because all I have to show for these movies on DVD are these director's special editions. So here is the motion picture, the only one that looks like this. I really wish that they would have re-released it to look like the rest of them, but they didn't for one reason or another. This is also the only DVD release of this movie, I'm pretty sure, at least with this kind of packaging. There is no, like, standard-sized case with this cover. I know that later they re-released it with a different cover design, but as far as I know, there is no, again, standard DVD size of the motion picture with this box art. But here's the front, spine, back. And we've got the Wrath of Khan that starts these regular director's cut editions or special collector's edition, whatever you want to call them. Front, spine, back. And that's going to be the trend with the rest of them. Here's 4 and 5, front, spine, back. What it really annoys me about these is that for the DVD release and all subsequent releases of The Undiscovered Country, they changed the Star Trek VI logo to this far inferior version. If you take a look at the VHS here, that is a neat logo for this film. And then they just didn't feel like doing that, even though they kept pretty much the exact same design for the 5th movie. So I don't know what the hell was up with that. But that's pretty lame. But yeah, everything else about it is the same. The Next Generation is where we get a little bit different, because we start getting different colors on the back here. There's First Contact, which is yellow, Insurrection, which is blue, and Nemesis, which of course is green. And that's it. So hopefully I'll be able to procure the rest of the versions of these films that I'm looking for relatively soon. But for now, as always, thank you so much for watching if you did, and I will see you next time. Bye for now.